I either was starting ads for the first time for my e-commerce brand in 2025, or perhaps I wanted to start with a clean slate, start with the best practices, with the most optimal strategy for me to succeed this upcoming year, I would want to watch this video. Now, if you're new to the channel, you know who I am. My name is Justin, and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, an online e-commerce marketing agency, having worked with over 70 plus e-commerce brands and profitably generated over $30 million in client revenue. With that being said, let's get straight into today's video. So one of the core key points or key kind of mistakes I see a lot of either starting marketers or even growing marketers and e-commerce brands and info product companies make, they lack discipline when it comes to creative testing. And I'll give you two examples. One of my great friends, best friend from all the way back from elementary school, actually, he runs a pretty successful real estate marketing agency. That said, we met up about, I would like to say, a year and a half ago, and he had launched some ads at the start of the year. So it was like late 2022, early 2023, and he had launched some ads. And then in April, we met up and we like to do these masterminds in person. I opened up his laptop, was looking through his ads manager, and he was asking like, what do you see as like improvements? What do you think I can improve on with my results? And I was like, well, you haven't launched ads in quite some time. Like, it's been a few months, honestly, where you haven't launched any ads. He's like, yeah, but like they're working. Like, well, I'm raising a bell here because they're working now, but the day that they stop working, what are you going to do? You're just going to scramble to find new ads? And he was like, yeah. And then fast forward to August, he kind of hit me up and sent me a text. And he's like, yo, dude, like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm not booking calls anymore. My ads have completely failed. Can you help me out? I was like, sure. Send me like what's been happening. And I look into the account, I'm like, yo, nothing has changed since April. Like, you still ran the same ads. It's been now 8 to 9 months with the same exact creatives. I'm pretty sure they just died out. I started looking into it. Frequency was through the roof, and you can see that week over week for the last like 2 to 3 months, performance has just been going steadily down and down and down and down. I'm like, look, that's a typical sign of you having exhausted an angle within your market. Like, you have to refresh your creatives. And the advice to him was be disciplined with a specific cadence of creative testing. Now, fast forward to now, just welcome new info product clients, a part of our ad engine one-on-one consulting, came up to me, already doing 7 figures a year, doing good, all things considered, right? Same thing as my friend who's doing multi 7 figures a year. And I was like, okay, let me take a look into your funnel. And then same thing, Q1 2023, something like a $200 cost per call. Q2, something like $250. Q3, something like $300. And he's like, yo, my cost per call has been going up. I don't know what's happening. I look into it and I'm like, well, you're kind of always saying the same thing in your ads. Like, have you launched new creatives maybe once or twice a month? But when you have, it's always been just very small tweaks and iterations, or the same script with a different hook. It's like you're iterating or spinning around the same message for about 18 months now. In fact, almost like 2 years. I'm like, it's been a while since you've been saying the same stuff. Like, you have to change things up. I'm like, do you commit? Like, how often do you launch ads? And his answer was the same as my friend. He's like, well, kind of sporadically. I was like, here and there, when I need to, I'll launch ads. And that is one of the biggest factor that negatively impacts an account, is people just relying too much on a handful of winning ad creatives. I try to commit to launch ads every single week for every account that we have. That will depend based on the ad spend. For some accounts on the low end, we'll try and launch at least 1 or 2 concepts a week. On the high end, we'll maybe launch 5 to 10 concepts a week. Again, it's really going to depend on the level of ad spend of that set account, but we're always going to commit to launch creatives every single week, because for one, I never want to be in a position where my team is like, oh my God, we have to overproduce creatives right now. We don't know what's happening. The account is a huge red flag. Nothing's converting. It's a shitty position to be in, because now you realize how kind of fickle your success is. You rely on this very thin line of success that is the string points back to one ad that makes up the balloon that makes your business float, So I'm like, you have to commit to a specific creative testing. Now, I recommend to launch concepts once or twice a week. So usually I say, whenever you launch a new concept, wait about 3 days before you make a decision, okay? Typically the first 48 hours are like very erratic when it comes to ad testing. And by the time you look into the ad, it will be on day 3. Here's what I mean. Let's say you come in on Monday morning, you decide to like whip up new creatives during the day, and you schedule them. So now, because you've whipped them up on Monday morning, you've scheduled them for Tuesday at midnight. They're going to run all of Tuesday. They're going to run all of Wednesday. And then Thursday, you can then look back into the accounts. When you log in the morning, let's say it's 10 a.m., your ads have been live at this point for like 58 to 60 hours, give or take. So that being said, they've been live for 2.5 days. It's a good time. It's a good chance, in fact, for you to kind of look into the results so far and see what happened with those. And typically, if you have launched them with a decent enough budget, meaning that you're spending at least your KPI a day, meaning if you're aiming to get a $20 cost per purchase, you're spending at least $20 a day on those ads. You should know after about 2.5 days, like, they would have gotten enough ad spend for them to convert, you should kind of see some initial signs of success or perhaps failure. And that's where I would then decide, do I leave these ads on for a few more days? Meaning, are they like starting to perform? Perhaps they're, not really doing that good yet, but they're getting some results. So I want to give them more time. Or perhaps on the flip side, already performing really, really good. And I'm like, great, let's just keep those on. I might just as well do that, have them go for a full week, and then next Monday, go back to the account and then make a decision to launch some new ads. Other times, I'm going to look into those, let's say on Thursdays. And in the same example, I would have been like, man, the ads are performing horribly already. Like they're just nowhere near where we need them to be. So let me just kill them off, launch some new ones today. They're going to go live on Friday midnight, which means they're going to spend all of Friday, all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and then Monday come around. I can look into them after 3 or so days of ad spend and then see, how they perform. That said, if you commit to that creative testing schedule, you will save yourself a lot of headaches and troubles down the line, especially as you start scaling. You'll have what I call an anti-fragile base. You're going to have a few different ads that each kind of have their own ideas or concept or angles. Now, very important point. Given this example that I said earlier, let's say you launch on the low end 1 or 2 concepts a week, on the high end 5 to 10. I'm going to pick a middle number and say you launch 10 new concepts a month. Okay. Out of these 10, I would say do an 80-20 split. So 80% being 8 concepts in this case should be completely new ideas, something you haven't tested yet, either a completely new creative type or a completely new variable. So by variables, I mean a new desire, a new market awareness level, a new persona. So come up with a whole new different angle for about 8 of them. And in 2 of those, you can actually do iterations, meaning you take your current winning ads and you either do the same script and same everything, but with a different actor, or you do the same type of video, but you only use the B-roll and you do the same script with an AI voiceover instead, or you turn the same concept into a static, or you do the same video, but you just change the hook. That's what you can do for those 2 remaining videos. But if you keep focusing most of your efforts on ideation rather than iteration, that too will give a second level of security to your anti-fragile base, because you'll have kind of different ideas running at the same time, which will tap into different personas or audiences. And this is the exact testament of what I mentioned earlier for this ad engine one-on-one client of mine, who basically all of his ads were of the same messaging. Like all of his ads, even though he thought he was producing new ads, he wasn't really, right? And that's why I gave you these 2 examples earlier. On the one side, you had someone that was just coasting on the winning ads and wasn't uploading ads in 8 to 9 months, which led to a big crash. As soon as everything stopped, it stopped very abruptly. And on the other side, you had someone who barely uploaded any ads, maybe 1 or 2 a month. And when he did, they were just so close to the original ad that it was basically iterations. So that too, in either case, it's not just about coming up with new concepts. It's about 1, coming up with enough new concepts frequently, 1 or 2 a week. And second of all, it's about coming up with enough new concepts with a complete new idea, with ideations instead of iteration. And if you want me to personally one-on-one help you come up with these new concepts, review your ads, and help you scale again on a one-on-one basis, check out a link down below to join our Ad Engine one-on-one consulting program. And perhaps if you want us, my team at pitadvertising.com, to do it all for you, to build your creatives, to run your ads and help you scale on a Meta, Google, and or TikTok, check out also the description below to book in a call to speak with our team at pitadvertising.com today. On that note, I'm going to invite you to check out other videos on the channel for some more useful e-commerce marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.